Thank you, Warwick. Good morning, everyone. I'm sure after today's session, all of you want to move on to the latest release. So, yeah, is it an update or is it an upgrade project that you are looking at? We have all been involved in major version upgrade projects for JDE, perhaps moving from 9.0 to 9.2. These type of projects were usually major, time-consuming, expensive events that cause significant disruption to the business. Therefore, most businesses embarked on a version upgrade project every 7 to 10 years and associated with an upgrade. The frequency of which, let me just get my story here. The frequency was also influenced by a couple of factors such as the associated cost, duration, and disruption to the business associated with that upgrade project. Another contributing factor was Oracle's version release frequency, whereby major version releases happened every couple of years. This led to a situation where businesses were not being in a position where they could utilize the latest available functionality in JDE and often use third-party products or customizations, even though JDE functionality was available. As we all know, Oracle changed their approach to the software release frequency when they introduced the continuous adoption framework from JDE 9.2. Updates are now released more frequently on an annual cycle with at least some quarterly updates in between. And that's all being released with a specific objective in mind. And that's for you to remain code current and have access to the latest functionality and features more frequently. So what are the differences between the two? And there are a couple of differences between an upgrade project and an update project. If you look at an upgrade project, you expect a major version transition with significant changes to the application and technical layers. There's also introduction of major new features and business processes in an upgrade project. And normally, unfortunately, it required retrofitting for customizations because Oracle had said you ended up with a set of new code from a previous release. Typically, an upgrade project took about 6 to 9 months to complete, including the post-go live support. And by the time you actually went live, you were already behind on the code. Then there was a high cost impact associated with the upgrade project and major business disruption with basically everything else being placed on hold.
Yeah.
Whilst the business is basically with the upgrade project, now other projects are happening and you have to involve users to test and so forth. From an update perspective, we expect a minor version enhancement. So not major changes, smaller frequent changes to the application and technical layers, incremental improvements and minor new features of each single release, continuous improvement, and retrofitting of affected objects only. You don't have to all your code is not gone. Oracle does not overwrite all your code. From a duration perspective, it's significant reduction there. Look at a 6 to 8 week project duration instead of this normal 6-month project, and therefore obviously a lower cost impact and insignificant business disruption associated with an update. Sorry, let me just get those right. So why update? The biggest driver should be for you to leverage the optimization and the new features and optimization opportunities across all core business processes. This is now possible with Oracle's continuous delivery methodology. And Akona will explain a bit later, but Oracle introduced comprehensive and forever improving impact analysis tools that helps assist with an update rather. So you'll know what you're dealing with even before the project starts from a retrofitting and a testing perspective. You can move away from a 6 to 9 month upgrade project cycle to 6 to 8 weeks. So you can do this more frequently. And this aligns with Oracle support strategy. And important, that is a rolling 10-year premier support. So every year that gets extended with 10 years. And it aligns with Oracle Cloud strategy, as you will see And Warren will show Oracle develops and is developing native integration into OCI services and other cloud products like EPM with JDEdwards. So what do you get? Obviously, access to the most recent features and functionality, integration capabilities, and also can help you to reduce your application landscape by reducing the need for third-party tools. You can leverage new technologies like AI and other cloud functionality and ensure, if you update frequently, that enhance security compliance from a database perspective, from a web server perspective, from an operating system perspective. And you continuously then get the on-the-glass features like widgets, which Warwick showed just now, logic extensions that can help you further develop and getting rid of modifications. Needless to say, orchestrator that's continuously improved, workflow to automate processes and approvals and notifications and alerts. So some of the features that you do get. But so I think that the big question then is, what should the approach to a release update be, and then also the frequency? Like I previously said, most companies did a major upgrade 7 to 10 years. With the tools that Oracle provide, we feel you can safely do it annually and be in line with the Oracle support strategy. But how should you approach this then? First goal should obviously be to complete the project as quickly as possible to minimize the disruption to the business. How would you do that? You focus on the delta between the previous applied release, so from release 24 and moving to 25, just focus on the changes between 24 and 25. You use the impact analysis tools, which Akona will explain in a bit more detail now, to identify the affected objects. This will highlight for you what you need to change, or what you need to test, and then what of your modified or copied objects will be impacted. Important in this whole strategy is to have a modification deprecation strategy. Modifications and customizations are still a bit of a barrier to, or will influence the duration of your project. So you should have a strategy how you continuously get rid of the modifications and move them to logic extensions and other layers, and not try and address those modifications as part of your initial release update project. And more importantly, and probably most important, analyze and plan the rollout of new features. You're not just upgrading for the sake of, or updating for the sake of being on the latest. You want to leverage the latest tools. So know what's available and how you're going to use it and plan that rollout. So we've included, okay, so the process from an update perspective. First, you'll perform your impact analysis. Akona will apply those tools. I will show us how those tools work just now. Perform your impact analysis, understand what you're dealing with. Apply the update in your non-production environments. Do your retrofitting, what you need to do there, if you need to do any, or move whatever you want to the tools layers, like all logic extensions. Just bear in mind that if you move items from ER code to logic extensions, there's UDO security that needs to be configuration. Do that configuration. Move into exception testing. Once again, it's exception testing, just deal with the delta. That applies for unit, integration, and UAT. The standard JDEdwards code in the last couple of upgrades that we've done is solid. You don't know if the object wasn't changed, you don't have to worry about it. Then after you've completed your exception testing and gone live, move into your modification deprecation strategy to continuously get rid of the modifications and customizations. You included a couple of slides here just to give you a sense of what's being released all the time, and hopefully you realize that the longer you wait, the bigger the change is going to be. And there's a lot of movement in development from Oracle. Here's a slide showing so and this has all been released in the last year, from November 2023, when the release 24 was originally released, until November 2024, when release 25 was released. So there's a lot of changes and optimizations that Oracle is doing and enhancing the product. Here's just a quick list of the planned items or optimizations, improvements that Oracle is busy working on. So those should be released probably 26, release 26 or soon after that. And then you can see there's a bunch of research that's going into further enhancements, even going forward. Important, the JDE support. You can see there's a lot of new features that are being added. JDE supports a rolling 10-year window. So at least up until 2036 at this point in time for Premier support, which includes comprehensive maintenance and software upgrades. Next year, it will move to 27. The following year to 20, what's after 37? 38. So it's a rolling 10-year. There's no expectation that Oracle is going to stop support or development on any of the JDE features, and that continues to enhance it with cloud integration and automation tools within the software. So I'm going to hand over to Akona now to take you through the workings of some of the impact analysis tools. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rian. Good morning, everyone. So I'll be touching on some of the analysis tools that Oracle has provided and improved over the years that aid in simplifying the process to get the state code current. So these utilities assess the impact that an update will have against what's in your current system from the code ER code level, and it reduces the uncertainty and effort in planning and executing the project. The Oracle has also improved the extensibility and orchestration frameworks, which has expanded the usability of JDEdwards. Also improved on the UDO capabilities, which we'll later chat about how you can use them to reduce some of your customizations at the ER code level. These tools help reduce testing effort as it streamlines the testing scope. And you know what developments, retrofitting that you need to go through based on the update versus what's in your system. Oracle has also improved the connectivity to infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, as well as software as a service, supporting broader cloud strategies. Okay, the first tool is the impact analysis. So this tool is a pre-update exercise to sort of see already before you apply the update what impact this update will have on your system, and thus helps better planning from planning to execution of the update. So what the impact analysis shows is objects that are included in the update and versus objects that you have in your system and what has been changed by Oracle at an ER code level. And together with the object tracker, this helps the identification, prioritization of what needs to be assessed, evaluated, retrofitted, and tested. And as you can see on the screenshot on the right, for this particular example, P4310 has been replaced on the system and has also been modified. So this already gives an indication to the developer, as well as the business analyst, that this P4310 has modifications and the overall standard ER code has changed. Therefore, there's a retrofitting exercise that has to be done and testing thereof. So here's an example of update 9, release 25 on a release 23 system, which had update 7. So update 9 has 12,884 objects. And for this particular system, out of those objects, only 13 13.3% are affected, which reduces the scope instead of having to analyze a total of 12,800 objects from a retrofitting and testing standpoint. And from that 13.3%, only 1.28% have been modified for this particular example. So to further expand on the process of applying updates annually, the more frequent you apply the updates, the less the affected objects become. So on the screen on the top, it's from up release 23. So that's 13.3% of those objects. And at the bottom is coming from an older release, which is release 22, and that's more objects of 18.3%. Just as an indication, as the longer you wait, the more impact it will have on the system, thus expanding the execution time of the project. Okay, the next utility is the customization object analyzer. So this utility complements the impact analysis tool. It extracts all objects that have been customized for assessment by the project team, and it aids in determining the retrofitting effort, which then therefore impacts the testing effort, therefore the turnaround effort of the total project. And this looks at all objects, including custom objects, and anything with a checked-in flag, as although you may not have made any changes to your ER code, but if you check in an object, it's regarded as a modification, which then could be a false positive. So how the process works, Oracle provided a process of loading the customizations into a table, and there's two reports of a summary and a detail, which will be used for analysis. And at the bottom, the screenshot shows an example of a few objects that have been identified as modified, which will input into the analysis process of the project. The application configuration analyzer. This is a set of reports which identify differences for processing options, data dictionary items, user-defined codes between either releases or environments. These reports include the version compare report, which compares processing options for interactive versions as well as batch versions. The UDC compare report, which compares differences in the UDCs between two environments or data sources, as well as the data dictionary report, which compares the data dictionary items between two environments or data sources. Okay, then we have the decustomization analysis. So what the decustomizer is, it provides output of opportunities where there are UI customizations that have been done at an ER code level that can be moved into the UDO level and only applies to interactive applications. So, for example, if there have been some UI changes on the form level, that can be moved up to a UDO level by usage of form extensions or personalization forms. And that also helps in the reduction of the turnaround time post applying an update, because Oracle ER code will be changed by an update, but it will not impact the UDO. Therefore, the retrofitting exercise for the particular object reduces. And again, the process, it loads into a table, and Oracle provides a report that outputs these opportunities where you could remove customizations from an ER code level up to a UDO code level. And here's an example of that report being ran, comparing against the pristine path code to a active path code. And it shows, if we take P48201 as an example, it shows some opportunities where there's been ER changes at a form level, and that could be moved up to a form extension or personalization form. Therefore, if this particular object gets updated by a UN or an ESU, there will be no impact, because now the customization has been moved to a UDO level instead of an ER code level. Yeah, so part of the journey of staying concurrent is re reducing where you can, where customizations at an ER code level, as I previously mentioned. So here's an example where we have customized work order parts detail application, and the events are column exit and changed inline action. And these actions, if you look at the bottom screenshot, these actions can now be moved up to a euro level. Again, if an update is impacting this, replacing the ER code, therefore it reduces the requirement from a development standpoint to make the retrofit back at the ER code level, which we have now would rather move up to a euro level, which helps with the process of getting as vanilla as possibly as we can, so that it aids us in reducing the turnaround time from applying updates and staying code current. Yeah, so a recap on some considerations. The more frequent you apply the update, the less the impact and business disruption the process will have. And the ideal approach is to apply an update annually and follow a program of working on your customization process. And also it aligns by providing, aligns the business requirements to new features sooner rather than later. And as discussed, that once you've documented your modifications and moved them from ER code up to a euro level, it therefore can impact positively the turnaround time of executing the project. So I will now hand over to Warwick. He will chat about the extension of the enterprise automation feature released in release 25.